5 tips on how to get straight A's in every single one of your classes. Happy 2025. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this year. Like, you guys, I can't even start to explain how excited I am. This year is a year to be intentional. This year we're trying to work smarter, not harder, right? Like, we want to make sure that we're on top of things. And I'm going to be sharing 5 tips on how to get straight A's in every single one of your classes. Let's get right into the video. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to review your syllabus and create a calendar. Now, this is very, very important, and you want to do this at the beginning of the semester. Every professor provides something called a syllabus, and in this syllabus, they provide the dates when homeworks are due, exams are due, quizzes are due, or whatever important requirement. What the calendar does is that it helps you to stay updated. It makes sure that you don't miss any important deadline. It helps to make you organized. Organization is very important. You don't want to miss an assignment or submit late. Simple things like that can contribute to your grade. I recommend calendars, guys. If you've been struggling, especially you are someone that misses assignments or forgets you have quizzes, I recommend having a calendar because it would definitely help you. If you go to the top, you can select by days, week, months, year, schedule. I'm just going to use this as an example to explain how to set up a schedule on Google Calendar. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to months. I like to see the view in months, and I use different colors to kind of separate like a regular homework from a quiz. That I like to be able to look at my calendar and immediately know what I have to do. For example, there's a final exam. I love the way it's read, so that way like my eyes goes directly to it, like, hey, you need to start reading or something like that. So this is just a quick sample of how Google Calendar can look. You can make yours a task. For example, if you go there and be like, let's say you have calculus, you can make yours a task, but I haven't figured out how to color code each task. That's why I don't use task. I just go to events, and then I had a time. For example, you can do it as class time depending on when your homework is due. Let's assume it's 4 p.m. and then you can color code it. You can set the time you want to be notified. If you want to be notified one day before, I like to do exams one day before and homeworks maybe a couple of minutes before, just to make sure. But for exams, you can do as far as 1 week or 2 weeks and then done. So that way you get a notification if you have like an assignment or whatever. I'm not going to save that. A couple of other things to note about your calendar is sometimes professors change the syllabus, like they change the deadlines for maybe homeworks or quizzes. They either push the date back or they push the date forward. So one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure that you are constantly updating this calendar. You want to make sure that you take this to all of your classes, so that way if something changes, you just immediately add that to your calendar, you add that to your schedule. Another thing to note about calendars is every week I usually just come in and check to see what I have to do for that week. For example, I know I have a quiz next week. I have a quiz next week. I didn't even realize I had a quiz next week until I saw this on my calendar. So that's one of the benefits of this. Color coding is very important in that sense, because I can immediately say, okay, homeworks, purple, quizzes, blue. Sometimes I can even make quizzes orange, so that way it's very visible. But for exams, I can immediately see, okay, I have this exam, I have that exam. So it's very visible. I really encourage you guys to try using a calendar. And another thing to note about calendars is you don't have to use Google Calendar. The second tip is a tip that not a lot of students use, and it's rate my professor. Like, this is one of the first things you really want to do. Like, and the reason why rate my professor is important is because you could be taking the same class like calculus, and the professor could make a big difference. Like, you could be taking with Professor A and you just have 2 quizzes, you're smiley, you're happy, and you could be taking with Professor B where you have 10 exams, 5 quizzes, 70 assignments. Yes, professors matter, and that's why you want to go online and review the evaluation of each professors, and those evaluations are made by students, so it's incredible. And this does not only help in terms of you changing professors, because there are some cases where that's the only professor you can take the class with. In that situation, you're better prepared. At least reviewing past questions of the professor helps you if you know students that have taken the course before. It helps you just understand what kind of questions the professor asks, and that way you can better prepare. So I know sororities and fraternities do this thing where they store past questions and they use it to help future students. You can also use the past questions to practice, which is very helpful sometimes. The other part of it is study guide. Like, if a professor gives you study guide, don't take it with levity, because it's very important. Like, most professors would even copy and paste questions from their study guides. If a professor gives you a study guide, like, don't go into the exam without reviewing the study guide. Office hours. I was talking to some students and they were saying something like, oh, I feel shy, I don't want the professor to think I'm stupid. Would you rather pay school fees twice? See, let me tell you something. Like, don't be afraid to go to your professor and ask questions. Like, you're literally paying them. The reason why you're taking the class is to learn. That's the first and foremost thing. You're taking that class to learn that subject. The professor cannot expect you to know it. This is the point of being in the class if you already know everything. If you already know everything, then there's no point taking the class. You should be in the next level. So if the professor makes you feel stupid, ignore that. The important thing is make sure you leave that room knowing your stuff. Like, know everything you went there to ask. Make sure you ask professors and be confident. Be confident about your questions. This last strategy is very, very important. You need to make sure that you have smart friends in the class. Like, I don't understand why you're taking a class and you don't know any other person in that class. You're not going to know everything. Sometimes it's okay to ask questions, and that's when peers come in. You have a class that you're really struggling with, find a study group in that class. Like, there are people that are meeting to study and they can actually help you understand that class better. Yes, sometimes you're in the same class and somebody understands it better than you do, and that's the truth about life. We're all from different backgrounds, different experiences. You could be taking a finance class and you're sitting down in the class, you don't know the experience of the other person. Maybe that's why it's easy for them to understand the concept faster than you can. So it's okay to have friends in the class and ask them questions. Having smart friends in the class is the most strategic thing you can ever do for your classes, because you can have people to lean on. If you have questions about assignments, if you have questions about deadlines, you can ask them and be like, hey, I'm struggling, how did you figure it out? And they can help you out. Like, now, don't misuse this smart friend opportunity. If you have a smart friend in your class, you want to make sure that it's kind of like a mutually beneficial relationship, in the sense that maybe the person understands this class better and you understand another class better, or it could be a situation where you understand the class and the person understands the assignment, so that way you are feeding off each other. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know down below and I'll be happy to respond. Please like, share and subscribe.